everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to talk even more about the BYU Jerusalem Center, the Independence, Missouri Visitor Center, the temple in Brasília, and now I want to add the Abrahamic family house, which we've talked about before on the channel. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I'm not going to do like a comprehensive thing about what this is, but just in summary, it's this kind of, okay, so this is in the United Arab Emirates, and it's in Abu Dhabi, right? And actually, that's where we're going to have our temple. There's a plan to have an LDS temple in Abu Dhabi, and we've looked at the UAE before, because I've been trying to understand why are all these things happening there, and it's because you may not believe this, but 80% of the UAE's population are immigrants from all over the world, from the West, from the East, from the Middle East. Okay, so it's not a normal like Arab country. That's why there's so many populations from all over that, you know, they're able to do these kind of things. And I guess there's enough Latter-day Saints there to where we can have a temple. There's a lot of people there that are working. It's a big place for work. So what's happened here with the Abrahamic family house is the Pope, it seems like him and the Catholic Church, they're the ones that are like spearheading this project. They wanted to do, like, he did this thing where he went to Ur, because that's the birthplace of Abraham, and I've done a video about that as well. But he's like doing this whole thing where he's like trying to kind of unite the three Abrahamic faiths. And, you know, you can speculate as to what he's actually doing. There's people that believe that this is like an effort to merge the religions into one, or like it's like a, you know, the next step in that process, which could be true. I'm very kind of suspicious of it myself, but the claim is that it's to advance a quote-unquote fraternity within the world, which, you know, fraternity is a favorite word of a certain organization that will remain unnamed, that seems to be associated with secret combinations. But anyway, excuse me. So the Pope, in the name of fraternity and bringing understanding between religions, they're making this complex where they're going to have a Christian church, a mosque, and a synagogue. And then there's also like an educational center. And this is scheduled to be completed this year. Okay, so here are the three buildings. They're all cubes, which is already kind of interesting. But what I wanted to bring up in this video is the architecture, because I realized earlier today, look at this one, especially right here. This is actually the mosque, but here you have the arches, and it looks similar. Now, don't get so fixated on the arches so much, because all these different buildings, the arches aren't exactly the same. But notice how, let me see if I can zoom in on, no, that's like going the opposite way. Well, notice these buildings how, okay, if you were to walk through one of the arches, you're not actually inside the building. So the arches are kind of like a outer feature of the building. You go through the arch and then you're under the cover of the building, but you're not inside the interior. And that's like a defining characteristic of all three of these buildings, as well as the Independence Visitor Center, which I've done a video about this, and it has been documented that this is intended to be part of the temple complex in the future. When they built this building, they took that into consideration, that this could be converted into a temple. That's from Alvin. I can't remember. I keep forgetting the middle initial. Alvin J. Dyer. Let me just look it up. Alvin J. Dyer? Excuse me. Oh, Alvin R. Dyer. Alvin R. Dyer. He was over. He had stewardship, or he was over the consecrated lands in Missouri, which included Adamot-Yaman and then this temple lot area. And the Interpreter Foundation documented this whole thing, the history of the temple lot, and that when they were, working with the architect, they also consulted with David O. McKay, who was the president at the time of the church, and they wanted this to be able to become part of the temple complex in the future, because there's going to be 24 temples. It's a 24 temple complex. And so anyway, that's like, I'm just saying these things in case like any of you are new, you haven't seen my other videos. I'm just kind of trying to get you up to speed. So you'll notice, it has the arches here. You walk through the arches. You're not inside the building yet, as far as like the interior, and then you can go inside. So there's a similarity in that sense. There are arches, even though the arches are, they're different. But it has that same kind of architectural characteristic, right? So now, why am I bringing this up? Because I don't know. I don't know if we should like view this as a good thing in the way that they're promoting it. I don't know if this is kind of like a secret combination thing right here, or if it's like genuinely good. I don't know. I have my thoughts, but I'm not going to, think whatever you want about this. So this could be kind of like a type of like imitation. There's always like imitation priesthoods and stuff like that. Or I don't know. Think of it however you want to. But anyway, so let's just look at these. So you got this, the Abrahamic family house, with all three of these buildings seem, except for I'm not sure about this one back here. I think that's the synagogue. So the mosque is the one with like the arches. The Christian church, okay, the Christian church is the one with these, they're not arches, they're like weird pillar kind of things. It's hard to tell if like you like walk in between those. I don't know. And then here's the synagogue. Okay, so we have these three. You got the Independence Visitor Center, which is slated, unless plans have changed, is slated to become a temple once we actually start to build New Jerusalem. We have the BYU Jerusalem Center, which, this is my opinion, I firmly believe that this will be the temple of Jerusalem. Like this would be the headquarters temple. I think it's still possible that they'll build the third temple where there would be animal sacrifices and stuff, and maybe the Jews will build that. But as far as like the main temple that Christ would reign from, I believe this would be it. That's my opinion. And maybe there's going to be some kind of similar complex in Jerusalem that would kind of match the one in New Jerusalem with like multiple temples. I don't know, but we've gone over this. I've done an overlay how the dimensions, at least the relative dimensions, match the tabernacle. The tabernacle, the portable temple that was going with Israel through the wilderness for 40 years, it matches. It matches. Not only does it match the outside, but these kind of block features on top. If you look at it looking down, these match the area where the holy place and the Holy of Holies would be, which is astounding. And of course, because Solomon's temple and the Herodian temple are basically the same dimensions. It matches them as well. So there's many different reasons why I believe this would be the temple, but I have a separate playlist for this. If you haven't watched the playlist, go watch it. There's a lot of details and a lot of backstory to the BYU Jerusalem Center, which is why I believe this really is intended to be a temple in the future. So we have this, has the same features, the arches, you walk through the arches, you're not inside the interior of the building yet. Okay, so it's similar, or the same architectural feature. And then I happened to come across this in another video. This is the Brasília temple. And very similar. You got the arches, you walk through the arches, you're not inside the building yet. You have the blocky type features to it, you know. It's blocky looking the same way that you have the blocks up here on the BYU Jerusalem Center. Same thing here with the Independence Visitor Center, blocky top. And then over here, these are just blocks themselves. These are cubes. Okay, so cubes, arches, walking through the pillars, not being inside the building yet. All these significant buildings have the same characteristic. There's more. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this in a little bit more detail in a minute. And then we had, I don't know. Okay, so I've done a video on this guy. I've gotten in contact with him, but this was like a month or two ago, and I still think I want to interview him. But this is an LDS. I don't really fully understand his story yet, but he's like had these kind of special like dreams that are almost like similar to near-death experiences. I know that sounds kind of weird, like on the surface, but you have to go like watch these videos. Go to Latter-day Media, come follow Christ, that channel. They have like a full interview of him, and there's actually like another channel that's interviewed him, and then I intend to interview him as well. But he's had these like special experiences. He's done paintings based on his dreams that he's had, essentially, and they're paintings of like the pre-existence, and I think he's also, well, you know, it's like heavenly type paintings and scenes. And there's one portion where he painted this right here. Now, it doesn't seem like he's aware or knows about these other buildings. Now, someone pointed out here in the comments section, wait, was it on this one? No, this is the other channel, Adam Belinsky. You can go check that out, Adam Belinsky. On my video that I did about it, B. Bernska says, I watched the videos of his explanations of his two paintings this evening. This painting and Eve returning to Eden. In this one, the temple that you pointed out to the right is actually symbolic of dwelling places. The quote-unquote explanation videos are very interesting and enlightening. I believe this guy is for real, that he is inspired by the Spirit and is... What the heck happened there? Okay, whatever. This is the main point I wanted to point out. So his interpretation of this is that in his dreams is that these are like dwelling places. And it's interesting because with the BYU Jerusalem Center, the top levels are the actual like center itself, with like classes, the auditorium, so on and so forth. These lower levels down here, they're dwelling places. These are the like the dorms. This is where the students stay, and whoever is like living there at the time, these lower levels right here. So that's interesting. If he doesn't know about the BYU Jerusalem Center, that's a very, very interesting thing to say about this, and then to paint this. But you can see the architectural similarity. You have the arches. It looks like you would probably walk through the arches and then not be in the building yet. Okay, and then in this case, it has the blocky top, but then it also has spires. It has spires on them. So, okay, so I find it very, very, very interesting because let's go over to the map. Okay, so Brasília is the capital of Brazil. Now, I don't know how things are going to be in the millennium. We do know that there's not going to be nations anymore like there are today. Christ is going to be the king of the earth. I don't know really what the political geography of the world is going to be during the millennium. I don't know if there's still going to be kind of like regional capitals, or if countries will still kind of exist, but they're going to exist under Christ. Maybe you can put it in the comments below. But Brasília is the capital of Brazil. And these other buildings, you have the New Jerusalem. So that's where one of these is in Independence. So this is going to be one of the world capitals in the millennium. And then the other world capital is going to be Jerusalem, right? So it seems like there could be a significance of having these buildings with this type of architecture in these capital areas. Jerusalem, New Jerusalem, Brasília. Now, United Arab Emirates is not a capital. However, Abu Dhabi, where it's being built, it is the capital of Dubai, the capital of United Arab Emirates. So that's a little bit interesting. Again, you'll have to determine for yourself what the true intention of this complex is. If it's a good thing, if it's a secret combination thing. Could this be taken over in the future? Like once we're in the millennium, will these structures still be standing, and maybe these be turned into LDS temples, possibly? Don't know, but it would be interesting. It would be interesting if like nations still exist, but Christ is the only king, and you still have like these capital cities of the different countries, and in each capital you have these temple structures that have these arches and the same type of architecture. So I just wanted to point that out. I just had that thought today. I was thinking about this and I was like, oh my gosh, this also has the same type of architecture. It's interesting. I guess I don't really know what to think about it. I guess my best guess is that this. Okay. I know there's gonna be people that are upset about talking about the Catholic Church and stuff. I am of the opinion that I'm of the opinion, you guys, that okay. You have to, and I'm not going to do it here on this channel. I'm not going to do it here on this channel. It's beyond the scope of this channel. But you really have to dive into, I think, secret combinations. Okay, or I don't want to say certain words on the channel or certain phrases, but you know what I'm talking about. Modern day Gadiat and robbers, modern day secret combinations, and where I'm not going to say the Catholic Church as far as like the followers, obviously there's a lot of good Catholics. My whole mom's side of the family, they're Catholic. My mom is the only one that converted. to the church. All the rest of the other, they're all in Portugal. Okay, my family is over here in Portugal. That's where my dad went on his mission. That's how he met my mom. Um, they're all Catholic, and the older ones are more devout. The younger ones are just like the rest of Europe. They don't really care about religion and stuff like that. So don't think that I'm not connected to the Catholic Church. I am. But when you look at the history of secret combinations, this little city over here, which when I did my video, I've done several videos about the Antichrist and stuff like that, talking about the little stout horn. I really do believe that this is it. This tiny little country, the other 10 horns, they represent modern day countries and the remnants of the Roman Empire. But then you have an 11th little stout horn with a big mouth, saying all sorts of things. When you understand the history of this little place right here wields a lot of power and is very wealthy and influences nations, and I believe that they still do today. All you have to do is look at the different things that the popes have said. They are trying to, and I think successfully do, influence nations. And all they're doing is not just like broadcast in the news and stuff like that. Okay, it's not simple. Secret combinations are hidden. So it's not like there's like a textbook or like a thing that you can go and look at and be like, oh, okay, this is what they're doing. This is their master plan. You have to like piece it together by looking at different things, because they can't cover everything up. You can put the pieces together, and it's hard. I don't spend like a whole lot of time doing it, but I know enough to know that in the world, when you're looking at different world powers, this right here is a very big power center. This over here, there's a certain family in this place that also wield a lot of power. They're not just symbolic. Okay, so with that in mind, okay, you think about the powers in the world, the powers that be. They're smart. They have a lot of resources, and I wouldn't be surprised if I would not be surprised if they know exactly who we are as a church, what we are, and possibly what is to come. Like some of the details that maybe even you and me don't have. Like they're also able to read scriptures. They're also able to see what prophets have said, and so I wouldn't be surprised if this, and maybe with the help of the adversary, maybe, if this is intended to be some kind of mockery or some kind of just counterfeit type, priesthood type situation. I don't know. I'm not going to say it for sure, but I just find it very suspicious in light of the architectural similarities to these buildings, which we have talked about at length, and know for sure that this one is meant to be a temple in the future, and this one almost certainly is meant to be a temple. So, true temples, false temples, right? And I'm not saying anything about the genuine worshipers that go here to these places. I'm sure that many of them are pure in heart and all that stuff. I'm talking about the grand master plan concocted by this little guy right here. This little horn. Okay? So, I don't mean to hurt any feelings, okay? Remember, my family, the entire half of my family is Catholic. I think very good, of all good people, it doesn't matter what religion you come from. I'm talking about the hidden powers behind some of these institutions. So that's going to be it for this one. Sorry, I know that was kind of a lot, but I had to point it out. There's no way I can't do a video on that. I just think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating. I'll put all these links in the description below if you want to check them out. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. Like this video if you liked it. Leave your comments with any additional information, thoughts, just anything on your mind. Also make sure to share this with anyone that would find this kind of stuff interesting. And I'll talk to you guys later.